Today I'm going to talk about how to find a volume with extraneous information. So we're going to look at some problems, and I'm going to do problems directly from today's worksheet, and you can follow along on the worksheet on the column on the left and then do the problems on the right. So our first problem, we're looking at a triangular prism. You'll notice we need the base times the height. So volume is always area times height. Now the area changes based on what shape you have. So in this case, we have a triangle. So it's the base of the triangle times the height of the triangle divided by 2 times the height of the prism. So the base of the triangle is 6. The height of the triangle is 4 divided by 2 times the height of the prism. The height of the prism is 9. Now some of you might be saying, well, what about that 5? The 5 doesn't matter. It's just extra information you don't need. When I type that into my calculator, I get 108, and it's going to be feet cubed. Okay, our second one, area of the base times the height. It's going to be the same formula because it's still a triangular prism. Notice on this one, the base is this line right here because the base has to be perpendicular from the height. And so that's our height. That is our base, which means the base of the triangle is 6 3/5. Number 2. The height of the triangle is 4 2/5 divided by 2. We don't use the 5 1/2. It's just extra information, but the height of the prism is 11. So I'm going to type in 6 ABC 3 ABC 5 times 4 ABC 2 ABC 5 divided by 2 times 11. And I get 159 and 18 over 25, and that would be inches cubed. Okay, the next one. It says the vase has the shape of a hexagonal prism. For flowers, first fill the vase 1/3 full with water. What volume of water is this? Again, we're always going to do area times height. So the area is going to be the apothem times the side length times the number of sides divided by 2. That is the area of the hexagon. Apothem times the side length times the number of sides divided by 2 times the height. Now, we're only going to fill it 1/3 full. So 1/3 means we're going to divide it by 3 because we're only using 1/3 of the base. Or you could times by 1/3. What you cannot do is divide by 1/3. You can either divide by 3 or times by 1/3. So I take my calculator, I type in 7.8 times 9 times 6 divided by 2 divided by 3, and I get 70.2. 7.8 times 9 times 6 divided by 2. I didn't do the times 37. Screwed up. Times 37 divided by 3. I'm like, I knew that was wrong. And I get 2,597.4. Make sure when you type it into your calculator, you type in all of the numbers. Don't skip one of them. Okay. The volume of a square pyramid. I have a pyramid here, and I'm going to show you 2 different heights. The height straight up and down, and the height if you were like sledding down the side of the pyramid. This side height where you're sledding down the side of your pyramid, we call the slant height. We don't really use it in 7th grade. The straight up and down height, I'm going to call it straight height for lack of a better word. That is the height we're going to use today. So, volume is always area of the base times the height. Now for a pyramid, there's a special, because it's a pyramid, we divide by 3. That's the pyramid rule. Area times height divided by 3. Now, in this case, a square base. So our 8 times 8 would be our area times the height, which is 10 divided by 3. Type that into my calculator. 8 times 8 times 10 divided by 3. And I get 213.3 meters cubed. Number 5. The perimeter of a hexagon in a hexagonal prism is 30. The apothem is 8. The height is 12. What is the volume? So I start by drawing a hexagon. and I start labeling things. I know the perimeter is 30. I know the apothem is 8. I know that the height is 12, and I clearly did not draw this to scale. But that's 12. And I want to know what the volume is. I don't know what the side length is, but I know that there's 6 sides, so 30 divided by 6 tells me the side length is 5. So now I have everything I need. So then I could say side length times the apothem times the number of sides divided by 2. That's my area times my height of 12. 5 times 8 times 6 divided by 2 times 12 is 1,440, and that would be meters cubed. I'm going to just comment really quick here that you didn't actually have to do this part. You could really, it's perimeter times apothem divided by 2 is really what you're doing here. But if you didn't recognize this perimeter times apothem and you just want to do it how you usually do it, that's will work too. Okay, number 6. The volume of a hexagonal prism is 189 inches. The height is 7 inches. What is the area of the hexagon? So volume is equal to area times height. Well, if the volume is 189, we don't know what the area is, but we know the height is 7. I divide by 7. This is a one-step equation like we did last week. I divide by 7. 189 divided by 7 is 27 is the area, and it would be 27 inches squared. Okay. Number 7, we're looking at another triangular prism. Again, our height of the triangle is going to be 8.3. Our base of the triangle is going to be 10 divided by 2. That's the area of our base. The height of our prism is 14. So then I do 8.3 times 10 divided by 2 times 14, and I get 581 centimeters cubed. And all of the extra 10s don't really matter. Okay, for number 8, we have the darker rectangle with a smaller rectangle on the side. So we start with the big rectangle. I'm going to do the big rectangle minus the little one inside. So the big rectangle, I've got a length of 25, a width of 8, and a height of 10, minus the little one, I've got a length of 22, a width of 5, and a height of 4. And I just type that in. 25 times 8 times 10 minus 22 times 5 times 4, and I get 1,560 centimeters cubed. Number 9, a cake has 2 layers. Each layer is a hexagonal prism. You cut and remove a slice that takes away one face of each prism as shown. What is the volume of the slice? What is the volume of the remaining cake? So think of it as like a wedding cake where you've got a big one and you've got like the smaller one on top. And that's kind of what this is showing. You've got the big one and you've got the smaller one here, and then the slice is cut out. We're going to go ahead and find the whole volume of the whole prism. We're going to find the volume of the big bottom and then the littler base on top. So I start with the volume of the big on the bottom. Well, on the bottom, I've got a apothem of 4.3, a side length of 5, and a height of 2. There are 6 sides to this triangle, and we're going to divide it by 2 because that's our area formula. Apothem, and no times 2 there. Hang on, I put an extra times 2 in there. Let's just start that one over. Oh, I put the height earlier. Apothem times the side length times the number of sides divided by 2. That is the area. Then the times 2 goes because that's the height of the triangle. This is the area of the big or the base cake. Then we do the area of the top tier. The top tier, you've got an apothem, 3.5, times the side length, times 6 divided by 2, and then times the height of 3. This is your area, this is your height. And we're going to add those 2 together, and we'll have the volume of the whole cake before any cutting was done. 4.3 times 5 times 6 divided by 2 times 2 means the top cake is 129. 3.5 times 4 times 6 divided by 2 times 3 means the bottom is 126. So my whole cake is 255. Now if I take 1/6 of that cake, 255 divided by 6 means 42.5. That's how much volume is in the cake we pulled out. That slice was pulled out. And what was left was 5 slices. So take that and times it by 5, because 5 slices are left. 42.5 times 5. And we get 212.5 is left in the other cake. Please note that that's not the only way you could get those answers. There's a lot of ways. That's what's awesome about math. That's just the way I did it today. Number 10, the apothecum of an octagonal prism is 7 centimeters. The area is 224. The perimeter is 64. The height is 9. What is the volume? So volume is area times height. 224 times 9. Area times height. We'll give you prism. 224 times 9 is 2016. There are other ways you could do that one as well, but that's by far the simplest. Number 11, a rain gutter along the edge of a roof has the shape of a rectangular prism. It is 7 inches high and 18 feet long. It has a volume of 7,560 cubic inches. How wide is the gutter? So volume in this one would be length times width times height. 7 inches high, 18 inches long. We don't know what the height is, but we know the volume is 7,560. Go ahead and combine like terms. 7 times 18 is 126. And then we have that one-step equation where we just divide by 126 on both sides. 7,560 divided by 126 is a height of 60. That would be 60 feet. Okay. On the other challenge one, you've got a big hexagon inside a little hexagon. So you're going to go ahead and find the volume of the big one and minus little one. So volume of the hexagon would be the outside one, your apothemus 4. You can see that goes all the way out to the outside, or 4.3, excuse me. The apothemus 4.3, and the length on the outside is 5 times the number of sides. It's 6 divided by 2. There's my area times the height minus the inside, the apothemus 3.5. The side length is 4 times 6 divided by 2, and again the height is 16. And type that whole thing into my calculator, and it will tell me the volume. So I do 4.3 times 5 times 6 divided by 2 times 16. So the outside would be 1,032. 3.5 times 4 times 6 divided by 2 times 16. Inside would be 672. Subtract them. 1,032 minus 672 is 360. But then it says a steel tube has the shape of a regular hexagonal prism with a smaller regular hexagonal prism removed. The material used for the tube weighs 4 grams per cubic centimeter. So then we times it by 4. Because 4 grams per cubic centimeter means it's going to weigh 1,440 grams. Awesome. Good luck today. Go ahead and do the other ones that I didn't do for you. You've got this.